Let's kick things off. Welcome to this explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here today. If you're a focused learner, someone really looking to optimize your personal and professional growth, well, you are exactly in the right place. Today, we're taking a highly visual, step-by-step journey through Stephen Covey's foundational framework, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And listen, we aren't just going to list out some habits. No way. We are going to visually unpack the entire operating system of a highly effective life. We absolutely have to start right here with this incredibly powerful concept inspired by psychiatrist Viktor Frankl. Between stimulus and response, you have the freedom to choose. I mean, wow, think about that for a second. This single idea literally frames this entire philosophy of effectiveness. Because our greatest power as human beings, it isn't our environment, it's not our circumstances. It is our undeniable, inherent ability to actually choose our response to whatever the world throws at us. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today. We're going to start with proactivity and influence, move on to begin with the end, and then put first things first. After that, we'll zoom out to look at the maturity continuum, explore interdependence and trust, and finally, wrap it all up with an inside-out summary.
All right, let's transition right into our first core concept, proactivity and influence. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it breaks down that freedom to choose. Before you can be highly effective, you have to recognize that you are the programmer of your own life. Look closely at that gap right there, between the stimulus coming in and your response going out. How do we bridge that gap? By using our unique human endowments. We're talking self-awareness, imagination, conscience, and independent will. You see, a reactive person, they feel forced to respond based on their mood or the conditions around them. But a proactive person pauses in that gap. They consult their values, and they consciously construct their response. It's a total game changer. And that proactive mindset translates directly into where we spend our time and energy, which brings us to these two circles. Look, we all face issues we care about, right? The economy, what other people think of us, or, I don't know, the fact that it rained on your vacation. All of that sits in the larger circle of concern. But proactive people, they focus their energy exclusively on the inner circle, the circle of influence. These are the things they can actually change and control, like their own habits, their words, and their behaviors.
Let's contrast these two mindsets directly. When you have a proactive focus, you become an agent of change. You're values-driven, and you are literally shaping your reality for tomorrow. But look at the reactive focus. When you obsess over circumstances completely outside your control, you just get swept away by the heat of the moment. It breeds this victim mentality and a blaming attitude. And the worst part, over time, your actual circle of influence shrinks because you're wasting all your energy complaining about things you can't even change.
Which brings us to habit 2. Begin with the end in mind. This habit is built on a fascinating principle. All things are created twice. First, there's a mental creation, and second, a physical creation. It's kind of like a building. A building needs a detailed blueprint before a single brick is laid, right? Well, your life requires a design too. If we don't consciously design our lives in step 1, we just default to the scripts that other people or society write for us. Consider this brilliant analogy from the sources. Imagine a team clearing a jungle. The managers are down in the thick of it, sharpening saws, making sure everyone is working super efficiently. But the leader? The leader is the one who climbs the highest tree, surveys the landscape, and yells, "Wrong jungle!" Management is about efficiency, sure, but leadership is about effectiveness. You can be incredibly efficient in life, but if you don't begin with the end in mind, actually scratch that, if you don't have that clear vision, you might just be efficiently clearing the completely wrong jungle. So how do we make sure we're in the right jungle? By developing a personal mission statement. This is absolutely the ultimate tool for habit 2. It focuses directly on your character, who you want to be, and your contributions, what you want to do. The sources note this process actually requires right brain intuition and visualization to picture your ultimate goals. Once you craft it, this statement acts as your personal constitution. It becomes this daily standard by which literally everything in your life is evaluated.
Now for the physical creation. Welcome to Habit 3. Put first things first. And this brilliantly illustrates how we execute on that mission, the famous time management matrix. It categorizes our activities by 2 key factors: urgency, meaning how soon it needs to be done, and importance, meaning how much it actually contributes to our overall mission. So we have quadrant I for urgent crises, quadrant 3 for urgent but unimportant distractions, and quadrant 4 for trivial time wasters. But the real secret to effectiveness, it lies in just one of these boxes. That secret is the magic of quadrant 2. These are activities that are highly important but not inherently urgent. We're talking about long-term planning, relationship building, prevention, and recognizing new opportunities. Because they aren't screaming at you to get done right now, well, they're super easy to put off. But highly effective people purposefully say no to the unimportant interruptions of quadrant 3 and the trivial time wasters of quadrant 4, and yes, that for sure includes your late-night doom scrolling, so they can maximize their time in quadrant 2. It is the absolute true heart of effective personal management. All right, let's zoom out a bit and look at the grand mechanism of growth, the maturity continuum. So, the maturity continuum is defined as a model demonstrating how we develop in an upward-moving spiral. It's absolutely crucial to understand that personal growth isn't just some fixed state you suddenly arrive at. It's a continuous, incremental evolution. We are constantly learning, forgetting, and relearning as we move along this upward spiral. Let's move to and see how this builds directly into the architecture of effectiveness, starting all the way down at dependence at the bottom. By mastering habits 1, 2, and 3, proactivity, vision, and execution, we achieve what's called the private victory and move up to independence. Only then, from that solid rock-hard foundation of independence, can we move up into the public victory of interdependence, using the higher-level habits shown at the top. Just to clarify these 3 massive steps, dependence is relying entirely on others. Independence is achieving self-reliance and self-mastery. But the absolute pinnacle, step 3, is interdependence, sharing our resources and collaborating for mutual benefit. The vital takeaway here is that you cannot skip steps. There's no shortcut. You cannot jump straight to interdependence. You absolutely must master yourself before you can truly collaborate with the world. Now we transition over to those public victories, into dependence and trust. This quote perfectly captures the essence of this transition. Only from the maturity of independence can we choose to be interdependent. Why? Because true collaboration requires making constant deposits into what Covey calls the emotional bank account of others. You have to be a whole, secure person before you can start building up that rich relational trust account. Any attempt at teamwork built on a fragile, dependent foundation, it will eventually crumble. Every time. Building these rewarding relationships requires ongoing vulnerability. It means making daily deposits, like keeping promises, listening openly, and showing kindness into those emotional bank accounts. It has to be rooted in clear communication and anchored by genuine connection. But man, the payoff is immense. You create a family, a team, or an organization that is vastly greater than the sum of its individual parts. Okay, let's bring all of these concepts together in our inside-out summary. So the crucial point is this: true growth is fundamentally an inside-out process. Lasting effectiveness doesn't come from quick fixes, little personality hacks, or trying to manipulate the environment around you. It comes from working from the inside out. It all starts with your own paradigms, your own proactivity, and your own personal mission. You simply have to build the private victory of self-mastery before you can ever hope to achieve the public victory of profound interdependence. Ultimately, proactivity is the foundation of the whole shebang. It's about stopping the worry over things you can't control and actively taking charge of what you can influence today. It's a daily choice. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Be sure to subscribe to the Edge Library YouTube channel for your next deep dive. Now, I want to leave you with one final provocative thought. What single step will you take today to expand your influence? Keep growing, and I'll see you next time.